What's up, y'all?
We are coming up on
Come on,
12:15,
y'all.
and we are super excited to be in conversation.
That's right.
Only
Come on now.
Rhonda V, Magee.
And we're leaning into the noise of life.
As we do, we lean into the
Always.
noise of
Hey!
life. Yay,
Yes,
there she
there she
is.
is. Bringing all that love and light. Loving it.
Yes.
Hello, my dear
So
ones.
good.
How are you?
We are so good. We're so good and so glad to have you with us. So good. And we were just saying that we're leaning into the noise of life. We do so many of our broadcasts outside because we're really talking about the fact that the chaos and noise of life is real. Like, and it is unavoidable. And what we're trying to do is make sure that we spend time being mindful anyway, right? Like being in that and being able to address it in a way that feels relevant.
And we feel like you know something about that. So
yes.
Just a little stuff.
Yeah, you're speaking my name, so here we are. This is what we do.
So good. So I want to start, folks, by letting you know who we are. I'm Sonia Russell, co-founder and CEO of Special Sauce.
King David Walker, co-founder and chief strategy officer of y'all know what? Special Sauce.
That's right. We're the developers of Blackfulness and Mindfulness app for and by Black folks. And while we are absolutely unapologetically focused on the Black experience, we're not exclusionary because everybody needs what we're offering.
You already know what I'm about to do. Go ahead.
Everybody.
That's right. Say one more time.
Everybody
For the people.
Needs what we're offering. Mindfulness is real. Stress is real.
Yeah, it is.
But so is inner peace, right? And so we're really kind of leaning into that. Rhonda is here with us as part of our speaker series. Yep. Mindfulness for the culture. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready. We're talking about real stress, how to manage it, just living this life, endeavoring to live our best lives, and to do so from a place of being present and available to all the beautiful things that are unfolding in front of us.
And we're bringing powerhouse Black mindfulness thought leaders to this space to support us in what that looks like, what it can look like, how it is looking, all the things. So that was to the wonderful Rhonda V.
That's right. Let's go.
May I share a little bit about this beautiful person's not only compassionate heart, but just know-how to get the thing done, because that is required. Y'all, today we have Rhonda Magee here with us, who is a sought-after mindfulness teacher and thought and practice innovator of mindfulness-based social justice principles, concepts, and practices. She is a professor of law at the University of San Francisco.
And
come on, y'all. The home crew, bringing it. Let's go. Right? And has spent more than 20 years integrating. I'm going to stop there for a second. Integrating. There's something in the integrating. Integrating law into higher education, leadership, and everyday social engagement, exploring the intersections of anti-racist education, the intersections of practices to support healing, resilience, personal well-being, and flourishing together. That sounds very familiar to our Qatar Get Down, collective work and responsibility. Let's go, y'all. She is the inaugural recipient of the Reed Smith Excellence in the Wellbeing in Law Award in 2022, awarded after an independent national selection process by the Institute for Wellbeing in Law. She's a fellow of the Mind and Life Institute, has served as an advisor for a range of leading mindfulness-based professional development organizations, including the University of Massachusetts Center for Mindfulness. Y'all, come on, y'all.
That's where MBSR was born, y'all.
Come on,
Let's be clear. That's where MBSR was born.
Say it again.
Mindfulness-based stress reduction. That's where it was born, y'all. So,
that's who we have right here on the call with us today, y'all. Bringing all the wisdom, right? The Search Inside Yourself Leadership Institute and the Center for Contemplative Mind and Society. In addition to all of those magnificent honorary
credentials.
Come on now, credentials and heart, they mean something. Ron is also an award-winning book author of the book, The Inner Work of Racial Justice, Healing Ourselves and Transforming Our Communities Through Mindfulness. We'll talk more about that.
Yes.
This title was named one of the top 10 books released for the year by the Greater Good Service Center and received similar recognition by Psychology Today and the editors of mindful.org. Y'all, we have a mindful badass
That's right.
in our midst today.
That's right.
And we are happy that you've joined us to be recipients of the wisdom and the love. I already know that Rhonda is going to circulate in the space today. So thank you for being here. We're excited that you're here. We're grateful and we're thankful. Bring that magic. Let's go.
My dears, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just feeling this like mutual magic in this moment. Really feeling honored, really feeling the love, feeling the light and energy from where you all are and from your hearts and spirits. So greetings, Ashe, to you. I am joining you from San Francisco, and it's a pleasure to be with you. So what can we talk about? I'm happy to also maybe share a little bit of mindfulness practice at some point, but let's help. How are y'all doing?
We're always about that.
You ain't said nothing but a word.
Well, why don't we start there? Because we're going to get in, as you know, folks, as we do, we're going to get in, we're going to talk to Rhonda, we're going to talk about stress, how she manages it. And we'll talk about sort of, you know, what kind of practical tools, but why don't we start with something?
Yeah. Why don't we
If you have
start,
something that we
right?
can start with? That's always a good way.
Let's just start here with a moment. Pausing, coming home right here, right now to your beautiful body, spirit, life force in this moment. Allowing the attention to rest on the sensations of the body in contact with the chair, if you're seated in the chair, so the cushion beneath you, if you're standing, or if you've got the feet on the floor, allowing yourself in whatever way is true for you to really feel the connection between the body and the supports that exist for you right here, right now, in this moment, beneath chair, beneath floor, cushion, bed, wherever you happen to be, beneath all of that, surrounding us, the earth, the air, the elements. So just take a moment to settle in, let the thoughts settle, like imagine a stone dropping into a cool, refreshing lake right now, finding its way, drifting down, making that soft contact with the earth below, and just resting here. Taking a few intentional and conscious, gentle breaths right now. And if you're willing, on the next in-breath, perhaps feeling what is well within you. Bringing awareness, opening up the aperture on really what's alive and well, where the energy is in your body right now, where you're feeling good and strong. And if you're willing, on the next out-breath, relaxing, releasing, letting go, releasing thoughts for the moment, anything we're holding on to unnecessarily, just letting go and inviting a kind of relaxed alertness. So we breathe in, sensing what is well, breathe out, letting go and feeling the support. Ground beneath us, my voice, this beautiful community in this moment. The air as it flows in and out, this environment beautifully crafted to support us, actually. The lungs interacting with oxygen, carbon dioxide. It is this magically perfect system really for restoring the body. So just allow yourself a gentle, absolutely free resourcing of a conscious breath in this moment. And if you can, feel the love in your heart that brings you alive in this moment, sensing into your own basic goodness, core basic goodness that wakes us up every day, inspires us to keep pushing. Just feel that, breathing in and breathing out. And if possible, see if you can just open up to expanding that basic goodness. Just imagine that if nothing got in the way, it could just radiate out from your body and being, from wherever you're sensing it, whether it's the heart region, the head region, all the way up to the crown of the head, lifting up, and then allowing it to radiate through all of the regions of the body, face, neck, shoulders, midsection, heart, of course, belly, where our strong will, our gut reactions, all of this wisdom in that center core of the body, and then down through groin, thighs, knees, legs, feet, back to the earth, radiating that basic goodness. And just imagine if there were others around you, they could feel it right now, because that's how powerful it is. That's how powerful it is. And as you breathe in, imagine receiving all of the basic goodness radiating right now toward you. It's here. Breathe it in. Breathe it in. So now we're going to, in these last moments, invite a kind of a question. What brings us here to this conversation? What intentions do we bring? And how might we keep a little bit of the thread of this resourcing that we've done in these moments alive as we continue our walk together in this conversation and beyond. So if the eyes have been closed, the invitation is to open them. And again, as I said, we continue this walk from here, from this conversation and beyond, because every moment that we're alive on the earth, we're alive sharing this one planet. We are never really alone. We just make it, right? Physically together. So remember this power of being together as something that's always with you. Ashe.
You better, Ashe, you better come on. We have to have you on the app.
Real.
Nice.
I love a good grounding. That you got a whole thing happening.
Let me just say this.
You just started a whole thing.
A whole thing.
A whole thing.
And part of that whole thing is just in that moment with whomever is here now and whomever is going to watch this as a replay, we have just shifted the energetic on the planet.
Yeah, that's right.
Together.
Yes.
Oh.
Into the healing that's always just like one consciousness shift away from us. It's possible. It's possible. My good people, I can feel that right now in my body, just being in connection with you. So thank you.
Ooh.
I love everything about it.
You done woke me out.
We can
in the best of ways, though.
We can just rest in this for a little bit.
Ooh.
Yes.
Seriously, pause, everybody who's here, if you can. And just really feel. Just give yourself just a couple more moments of just feeling. You know, eyes open, eyes closed. Just allowing yourself to really become intimate with what it feels like to actually resource yourself. You know, let that be something that's a consciously felt. We're not just talking about it here.
That's right.
This is totally right. This is opening up what the cognitive and neurobiologists call neuroception.
That's it.
Right? The ability of our bodies to feel our way into resources.
Yes. Come on.
Sister Rhonda, I was raised in the Baptist tradition, and it's taken everything I got in my spirit not to run around and run a lap around this backyard. You hear me? If we didn't have a thing to do, I'd be running a lap, a few laps right about now.
Amen, Brother David. I was raised in that same tradition, so I hear you. Yeah.
So you know where I'm coming from.
Absolutely.
I'm going to hold it together, though, because we got something to do. So
yes, hold it together.
Amen.
Just what you can.
Can I get a witness?
Yes. So Rhonda, we like to sort of lean into just sort of the, you know, getting to know you aspect of. Can you tell us what you were like as a kid? Right, like that's always a thing, right?
Yeah.
What were you like as a kid?
Wow. Okay. Well, okay. What I can tell you is I had a nickname that that I got when I was actually a little girl, and it was called Bucket of Water. And the reason for that is I happened to be one of those very sensitive children who, when another child was sad or tearing up, I would tear up.
Oh.
No, I happen to be one of those people who's a kind of an intuitive, yes. And I can sense, what folks are feeling. and open up a sense of empathy and compassion for that. So I do think, that is something that was kind of a part, that was like one of the, I think we all have kind of original medicine. And so, yeah, as a little girl, I was very sensitive, and, as in the Black community and all our communities, in the culture that we live in broadly, in our different communities, as they come together in the US and elsewhere, it's not easy being a sensitive child at this time, right? And so I got all the messages about how you need to toughen up, et cetera, et cetera. And I took some of that in, did what I could to kind of make the most of the opportunities that presented. But yeah, I was kind of a little bit nerdy. I was, the kind who would find some peace and joy in these kind of introspective, reading activities, drawing. But I also love to sing and dance. I'm still a lot of people getting to hear the real untold story. I will still break out a dance. Yeah, I'm a person who thrives
all day,
on
every day.
movement. Yeah. So all of that. So yeah,
Ooh.
That's a little bit of who I was.
I love that.
Oh, we definitely definitely have you on the app. Come on, we got moving, talking about, we got singing,
I'm
we got
telling
grounded.
you, continue to open this can of worms for us, Rhonda. That's just you're gonna be. Yes, I know, Sonia and David. Yes, I know. It's gonna be like just because we're gonna be all around all the time. I love it. I love it. Everything about it. So before we get, I do want to absolutely make sure we spend some time talking about the book because I loved it. I listened to the audiobook. Plus, 2 people tried to gift it to me. I have one of them, the other one. I was like, let's find somebody else for that. But I have the audiobook, but I have the physical copy. But yes, there it is.
Let's go.
Because I sure intended to have it here and I don't have it.
Yeah.
But let's talk about sort of just in general, sort of what kind of stresses you out? Like just kind of the basic, like we're really talking about kind of people feel, I just feel like so often we feel, when we're feeling separate, we think what stresses you out can't possibly stress me out. But most often I feel like what it turns out is it's the same shit as stressing all of us out.
Oh yeah. Well, and therein lies my path into mindfulness. That observation that although all of us have these radically separate, journeys to this moment, right? Every single one of us, whether we look more or less alike, whether we speak the same language, went to the same church, we have had radically different paths to this moment by definition. But at the same time, we see patterns in terms of what stresses us out. Of course, the news can stress me out these days. We are coming together. We happen to be meeting on a date when, for those of us who are law types and, follow what's happening in that realm, we got hearings in DC on Jan 6th. So that's just one example of opening up the feed and seeing some things that can remind us, right, of, what's happening in the world that can make us feel vulnerable, can make me feel vulnerable in this little soft belly carbon-based body, right? Where I gotta have food and water and shelter to survive just like you. And so, yeah, thinking about people walking around feeling emboldened to carry, automatic weapons, that can stress me out. And then bringing it home just a little bit more, just the little things that can happen, show up in my day. I happen to, have these interactions, whether in my workplace, where I work at my university, or in my community with my neighbors. That can stress me out, somebody wanting to do something that I think is going to impact my light source in my apartment or whatever, all of a sudden I'm like feeling a sense of threat because, I've curated this light source or whatever it is. So all of that is to say, all of us are these neurobiological beings, right, with all kinds of threat sensors running through us. So yeah, we're going to feel stress, and different things can stress us out, whether it be media, whether it be interpersonal interactions. One of my teachers, John Kabat-Zinn, in his book, Full Catastrophe Living, refers to that as like peak stress. Like he's just like, we always together in ways that can stress us out just by being together as humans. So stress is very, 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 very common. And some of it is good, as we know. And then, but there's that question of when does it move from good stress? Like I'm doing something I want to do for the first time. I'm writing a book for the first time. I'm speaking, I'm doing something new, good stress, pushing me to my limits, can move us past that window of good stress into distress. And that's where mindfulness can come in.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for that.
Just laser and clear.
Come on now.
Love it.
Come on now. So then tell me, like, for you, like, what the signs are. Like, how does it show up in your body? How does it show up in your life? You know, and, you know, when the triggers go up and you're like, wait, you know, yes.
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. And, you know, as I say a few things, I want everybody right now, whoever's listening, just think about what is true for us, which is true for you. So, you know, stress can feel like a lot of different things. So if it's coming up in reaction, so, you know, it's like some stimulus. I'm this little soft-bellied organism that's going to react somehow. And so in this body, right, it can feel like, you know, this heat and energy. For example, I open up an email and something in there is like, feels like something in there is a little bit.
Bam.
Somebody, right, email. Lord have mercy.
Who would have ever thought
Right.
that email could be a trigger the way it's a trigger?
For real.
Right, it's like,
For real.
Well, let's be clear, that the email is the people behind the email.
it's the email.
It's the email.
It's something unexpected, right? Somebody doing something you didn't expect that feels like a little bit of a threat. Again, like we got these threat sensors. So for me, what it can feel like is just like, whoo, I'm suddenly feeling my heart might be racing a little bit. I might be feeling a temperature rising where I'm feeling a little warmer. And I'm also of an age where it might be a hot flash, right? And again, because the body is reactive, all right, in real time. So warming and feeling tight and feeling like, you know, the brain, of course, then, is, you know, the body brain is interacting so quickly, so fast. So all of a sudden the thoughts are telling me, oh, you need to do this. You might need to respond to this email. You might need to, you know, talk to somebody and get somebody, you know, have a conversation with somebody. In other words, it feels like, you know, warmth, energy must do something, right? This energy to act. And often if I'm paying attention, I can notice the thoughts that are coming up. And of course, all of that is very common in terms of stress reactivity. You know, we feel the heart pounding, we feel the temperature rising, sweat, you know, breaking out on the body. And, you know, I will say that when I feel that, not just in an episodic way, but maybe I can feel if I've been going through some circumstances where I feel a lot of stress compounding, you know, I can really just feel like a tension running through my body. It can feel like fatigue, it can feel like overwhelm, feel like a little bit of just like buzzing, kind of just being off, you know. And so, you know, there are a lot of different signs that I look for that my body is going through something stressful. And I try, that's what mindfulness is about, to notice them sooner rather than later, and then take some actions to try to alleviate that.
Right.
Come
Absolutely.
on. Early detection.
Yeah.
For real. Early detection.
That is a thing. I noticed that the longer that I practice, the longer I've been practicing now, is that it doesn't take as long. It's not that I don't still fall off and have my moment of like flipping out, but it doesn't take me as long to find myself. And that feels like progress, right? Like before, you know, I could go days, if not weeks of stewing. And now I'll be like, yeah, I'm gonna go sit down and breathe, and I'm gonna let.
And well, letting go, right? That is one of the. So our app is built on 3 guiding principles: the principles of mindfulness, letting go.
Thank you, John Captain.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
The principles of Nguzo Sawa, and then of course the principles of Ma'at. And letting go is one of the foundational principles of our app, and there's so much power in the release and the let go.
Yeah.
And what I love about what's happening right here, Sonia, you led into it with your question, and Rhonda, you've elaborated on it in your response, and I'm going to reflect it back that we all experience.
Yeah.
Right.
No matter where you sit, what your job is, what your socioeconomic situation looks like, it shows up. So you said we're not alone. We're not alone, even in the management and the experience of it. Like we're not by ourselves, and that's something that we want our community to really know.
Yeah.
We're not isolated.
Right.
You are not alone.
You're never alone, actually. I mean, even you know, in these times when we, you know, might feel physically that we're in, you know, this place by ourselves, we are, as human beings, always feeling, always in the same kind of circumstances on a certain level where our bodies may be feeling vulnerable. And again, no matter what the differences are of our particular circumstances, our bodies, know what it's like to be human. And, I'll say the good news is there's some good news in all of this, which is that when we feel these stimuli, these things that cause us stress and maybe the threat of distress, right, going into overwhelm, we have within us, we experienced it in our meditation just a moment ago, we have within us the capacity to cultivate deeper resources for transforming distress into, personal power for getting stuff done, right? The energy, right? For moving through into a place of, more skillful response rather than simply reacting to what's happening. But we're in that, so stimulus happens, response. What's in between these bodies? So taking the time to cultivate the ability to, yes, notice sooner rather than later when we're about to slip into that feeling of overwhelm, and to kind of pause and recognize we have a range of resources, a range of ways of, relating to what we're feeling, relating to what's happening in our bodies. It might just be stop, pause, take a drink of water if we need to. We're feeling we need that. Lie down for a little bit and just give ourselves a break, right? So and that's just one example. It could be turning off the internet for a little while, putting the email aside for a little while, running around, getting some exercise and getting some fresh air. We have always a range of responses when we are feeling distressed. But the key to all of that is being able to notice and to recognize the power that we have to affect the moment.
Right. I love that so much. And that's so perfect. I say all the time, between stimulus and the response, there's a big old space where we get to choose, even if that space feels like a nanosecond, right? That's where the choice lies. And you answered part of my next question, which was sort of, what are your kind of go-to mindfulness practices? Like, water, like we were just talking about. Yeah. I was telling my daughter just the other day, like, if you're already thirsty, you're already dehydrated. Like, you gotta drink water before. Right. Before
drink it right now.
I'm going to hit that real quick.
Right now.
That's real, right? Like the basic things, like making sure that you get enough water is a mindfulness practice. Like, we're talking about the basic things of life, right?
So true.
Right. Like, so talk about a little bit more about your go-to, like the things that you really feel like these are without these, I'm not right. Like, have those, like, without these, I'm just not right.
Yeah. Great question. So, right here, right now, it is now much more common that, those conscious breaths are the go-to. And those are it's kind of like a micro practice for resourcing, meaning, yes, there are times when I'm sitting and, doing 20 or 30 minutes or even longer of sitting meditation practice in this kind of formal way, which is also an important part of, my own commitment, daily, regular practices where I just sit and do meditation. But beyond that, just these micro practices, moments of pausing and clarifying. So that, what happens when I meditate on the cushion or when I do walking meditation, that's another practice I have. I call it walk to self. Often at the end of a long day, it's like close the devices, take a walk, reconnect with air, earth, breath, and movement, and I don't have my headphones on. I am, open to connecting if there's another human being, a neighbor on the road, if there's, birds chirping. I'm really being open to being present. So a walking practice in the environment. So pausing, taking a resourcing breath is a really, really foundational practice for me. In addition to the formal practices of sitting or walking, I do movement. And the other really connected when you said, what are the things I do without which I'm not right? I have to say, I've always been a journaler. But, I find that as I deepen over the years, as I've included more mindfulness, I go a little bit more, there's a little more space between that feeling of I gotta write. But before I had mindfulness, I literally would feel like in my body, I need to do something to get some of this energy out. And for me, it was a writing practice, a journaling practice. So again, all of us have different practices that are available to us that feel like the ones that are our go-to. And so those are some of mine.
Yes, I love that.
What I love about everything you mentioned is that it is all free 99.
That's
right?
the best,
And
the absolute best part.
All
Yes.
it requires is a willingness, and dedicated time. Intentional.
Yes.
Yeah.
Woo! Say this
Intentional
again.
time.
Say this again. Intentional.
Intention. You come on, intentional time now. Let's go.
Right.
Want to run a lap on that too?
Everything flows from intention.
That's it.
Everything flows. Now, this is not to say that what we intend is necessarily going to manifest, or what we intend is going to impact in the way we intend. We're not saying that. But we are saying that intentions matter.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So grounding in a view and awareness that our lives already matter, or else we wouldn't be here. Intentions matter, right?
Yeah.
And our actions matter. And so from those places, all kinds of power can manifest.
That's right. That's right. I love that. I love
Okay.
that. So I know there's so many things. There's so many things.
I need to go journal.
We,
After this session, I need to go get somewhere and sit down and do a little journaling myself.
Right.
He does.
What do we want
I
to
do too.
manifest?
yes,
I definitely
he
do.
does, and I do too. Let's be clear. Let's be clear. So I love that so much. So Rhonda, as we're sort of wrapping up,
Yes.
asking that my final question, because we are about music. I feel like specifically for African Americans, music has been so much part of our lives.
Absolutely.
Like from, the oral tradition that we historically shared with our communities and with our families, the way we pass down energy, the way we've connected, and it's Black Music Appreciation Month. And tell us what's on your playlist. That's what I need. Like, I need to know what's on Rhonda McGee's
Oh my God.
Get Your Mind Right or Get You Hyped or whatever it is. Just what's on your favorite playlist.
So
right
there's
now?
a lot of stuff, and it ranges. There's a range. All right. So like some of my classic sort of stuff. I have to say I'm a jazz person, so I like all the good classics, all the way back to Louis Armstrong, right?
Yes.
Yes. But also to include people like Pat Metheny, right? Who is like a guitar aficionado, like the Mozart on guitar of our time. You got to know Pat Metheny, right? But also, I'm just exploring Ghanaian high life music. Check it out if you have not heard Ghanaian high life. We'll play a little bit of that and move the next time we have an opportunity to do this. But yeah, just and that's the continent giving us that that energy that goes back to the time before time. All of
That's right. That's right. I love that. I'm about to hold on. I'm over here taking notes because we got to work this out. I have a consistent all the time. All the time.
So Rhonda, you will be hearing from us for some other stuff.
Yes.
We open up a whole lot, and we're hoping and trusting.
That's so good.
Gonna work
That's
out.
so good.
Oh, man.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. This has been Lord have mercy. You will be hearing from us again. I just need you to make sure you're aware. It's okay if we get excited about being connected to people. It's okay to be like Tanya and David. I'm gonna need y'all. Relax.
Chill out.
We are connected already. We already have it. So just
love it so much.
let's take a pausing, like a nice breath right now together. In breath together, feeling the purposefulness of this meaning, the meaningfulness of this connection. Breathing out, sending that love beyond through our whole bodies and beyond. Thank you, beautiful beings, for all that you are and all that you're doing. I feel just a lot of gratitude and appreciation for the connection.
So good. Thank you so much, Rhonda. Yeah. Make sure y'all check out Rhonda's book, Inner Work of Racial Justice. Yep. You can find out more about her on her website, Rhonda V Magee, MAGEE.com. Yep. And follow her on all the socials. She's bringing love and light and wisdom. And y'all want to be a part. Y'all want to know what she's talking about. That's what we have to offer. Thank you so much, Rhonda.
Thank you.
See you all later, family. Have a great, great day.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Peace.